Metaphysical Endnote number 1. Where does a psychic ability come from? Why does one child in a family possess the ability to see while the others don't? Is it inherited? Sometimes. Or it can look that way. If you had an old Russian grandmother who read tea leaves, she probably passed down to you her understanding of the symbolic pictures in the teacup. She would thereby have opened a door into the spirit and psychic world for you, her offspring. Perhaps all of us would retain such inherent psychic abilities if we had parents who, when we told them as children that we had a lovely chat with our deceased grandfather the previous night, would respond with, "Really, dear? And what did he have to say?" Instead of, "Don't be so ridiculous," or "You have an overactive imagination, but don't worry, you'll grow out of it." The sad part is we usually do. We then buy into the adult world concept that what we see is all there is. What a tragedy. We are then cut off from all the magic that our minds and the universe have to offer. Of course, the parent probably suspects deep down that the child is telling the truth, but their parents responded the same way to their otherworldly sightings, and that's all they know. Does a psychic ability evolve out of a survival instinct? For many, a psychic ability is not a consciously cultivated luxury. Often honed instincts are necessary for a child's very survival. My theory is that most professional psychics you will encounter have, as children, experienced serious trauma, or at the very least, survived precarious upbringings. Childhood, for most of us, is no picnic, especially if the environment is not secure. This is where many of us will sharpen our abilities to sense danger, incoming mood swings, violence, or the impending wrath of a parent-sibling authority figure. This heightened sensitivity to our environment protects us and lets us know whether to run and hide, be silent, or, to save our skins, just plain lie. The mind has its own inbuilt safety mechanism. As Richard Bach writes in Illusions, there is no problem so big that it cannot be run away from, for a while at least. And if something happens to us that is too overwhelming for the mind to absorb, the psyche will split off from itself to prevent insanity. Hence multiple personalities. We all have them, to a degree. Early morning persona, private persona, happy persona, PMS persona. Repressed memories, habitual astral traveling, and psychic abilities are also symptoms of a split. During trauma, if children especially find that what they are experiencing is particularly overwhelming, their spirits can vacate their bodies and fly away for a while. Trauma catapults the mind into that in-between world, that place where we can disconnect from our own conscious mind and body, but stay connected to and safe within another reality. Some might call this astral traveling. Psychologists might understand it as dissociation, but I call it a survival instinct and the beginning of a gifted psychic ability. Or is your psychic path predestined? Yes, it can be. Being a healer or an artist might be the agreement we made before we came here. We are all born with gifts and challenges, the gifts helping us to overcome the challenges, or the gifts arising out of the challenges. More about this later. So while the budding psychic might have been abused as a child, the challenge, it also provided an opportunity to overcome and to learn to heal the self and others, the gift. Many of us at this time in world history have chosen to be healers and light workers, contributing to this planet's accelerated evolution. So we have been put through the mill so that we could learn compassion, humility, understanding, and the opportunity to further develop this gift. And it is a gift, honest. Can a psychic ability be developed? Absolutely. Whatever the degree of your present ability, by unleashing your mind, you can experience an enhanced psychic ability and a spiritual reawakening. If you so desire, it can be the same thing. If you have the desire to learn, you can do anything. I could sing too if I took up singing lessons, lots of them. All that is required is an openness, a willingness to explore the outer reaches of your limitless mind, a desire to study, and like any other talent, practice, practice, practice. End of chapter 1. Join me next week for the second chapter of I Think I'm Psychic, and You Can Be Too, called Childhood, It's a Setup.